Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, July 31st, 2023. Market basically was extremely range-bound today. We did kind of push to a slight new low and we pushed to a slight new high, after Globex yesterday. So here's a quick update. I think that the market continues to perform as it should within the context of a finishing minute fifth wave to finish a minor fifth wave to finish an intermediate C wave to finish a primary B wave. So I do think that we're really coming up to that area where it's like, okay, now let's see what happens. I cannot yet say with permanent definition of like no way can't happen, can say that this market will not go to new all-time highs above 4808. We are within earshot. We are within 200 points of doing that. Now, 200 S&P points, but the market certainly is capable of tacking it on. What could do it? Well, we have several things. Of course, there's the whole camp that believes that we are breaking out and we are in the middle of a new bull market. And, so they have their reasons. I think technically we can take a look at what may or may not be coming out from Apple and Amazon on Thursday. So again, we play in levels where the market is traded. And so there's still a lot of volatility trade going on. There's still a lot of things that it settles. My point on zero DTE options today is that don't forget, please, that they settle every day. So they may want to settle the S&P or the SPX above 4,600. They may want to have it settle at 4,625 or 4,635, and it'll be nothing more than a number. But yet the market's going to go bullish, bullish, bullish. We're continuing to break out. They're just pushing the level. And so, if it's a volatility trade, it's being based on the fact that volatility is really low. And at the same time, it can be a little bit higher, but still. In any case, sorry, I digress on volatility, but that is what's going on. And we're right on target in terms of where we may or may not end up. So we're inside this minute fifth wave today. Now, still coming off of last week, where on Thursday, we saw the market peak early in the session at new highs for this sequence at 46.34, and then take a nosedive, all within the same time period, just straight down, and ends up closing, which could have been counted as 5, but in my opinion was still a 3. But internally it was a 5. So in other words, inside this, you could count one more and count it as 5 to make it work as a C wave. This was irregular in and of itself. That high is 46.09, and this is 46.34. So again, point-wise, it's not to the moon, but on an Elliott basis, that is an irregular B wave. And that's what usually will follow it. This is what I wanted to show. And I'm not joking or I'm not laughing. I'm being serious where it's like, this is a perfect example of what I believe is now happening. But this is the October low, or this is the October low. One of the two is the October low. We've got an A, and this whole thing is now on a primary degree. So just real briefly, because this is my point through this whole thing. This is what took place. So this is the primary degree. Now we're going to go, because this is where it is, all the way down back on that hourly chart. It's on a minuet degree. So it's several degrees lower. But still, my point here is the action that it took. It parabolic up and parabolic down. So when this flips up to that higher degree, and it's a primary B wave finishing, and that's going to be primary C, we need to view it by blowing it up 100, 200, 300%, whatever number you think you got to use, because that's what's going to be coming. All right. So back over here. And again, people say, what's going to kick it off? I don't know. You tell me. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. You know, it could just keel over on the fact that it truly is out of whack. It is not. PE ratios, well, you know, what's worth it? Adobe gets an upgrade and tax on $18 to $20 simply because of the price of where the stock is trading. It becomes kind of untradeable unless you've got enough money, and a lot of the larger firms do, and they play that. And they play it to the hilt. So again, 0DT options, folks, they settle every day. Monday through Friday, they settle. Done for the day, thank you. And when you're doing it in the index, it's cash. So cash is settling every day without any point or anything to say, well, we think it should be here, we think it should be there. That's where they pin it, and that's where it goes. And a lot of it has to do with options, with the derivatives. So again, here we are. We're inside this minute wave 5. I think that the minute 5th wave may have finished. Let me just kind of pull this open a little bit. We can kind of go like this so we can see inside it. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4. It did eke out, so that's a slight new high. Put a 1 there, and then we have a 1, 2, or A, B. And we're working on trying to put the C wave in, but we keep ending up back here up at the high. And they're not willing to walk away from it. So there's a couple of interpretations. Okay, ABC, we got the 4. 1, somehow this is going to be 2. And this is 1, 2. This was kind of funky during the day. And this at the end of the day was reminiscent of some type of a triangle pattern. And it just blew up out of the triangle, which is what it should have done. Right? A, B, C, D, E, bam. So are we now heading up to next levels? Totally open. I think we can run this fact that can go in A, B, C, B, and then we do a C wave to finish this, which would end up being a wave 2. So we still have the potential where the market will turn, and it will get back down to 45.93, maybe even down to 45.85, lining itself up to, again, begin to launch higher. We do have some numbers. We've got other things. We've got earnings report. We have Apple and Amazon on Thursday. So out of the big tech, out of the Magnificent 7, that's what we got left. NVIDIA comes at the end, in the middle of August, like August 23rd, I believe, or something of that nature. There it is. Let me just double check. August 23rd. How about that? Memory for numbers. Okay, so back here, I think if and when this gets going to the upside, our resistance points are 46.23 to 46.34. But breaks above 46.34, then we're going to be able to clearly, likely feel we're in minute wave 3. Excuse me, we're in minuet wave 3 of minute wave 5. Now, what are expectations there? Once we get a marker for wave 2, I can throw some additional fibs. Initially, we have 46.23 to 46.34. Wave 3 should break that level and head up maybe to 46.50. And then we pull back. Now, continued for minute wave 5, right? That's the 618. It's just going to be take a breath. That should provide a little bit more, but again, it's just going to be take a breath. This is where stronger fib resistance lies. And then again, above at 46.67. So that's the potential. Now, above all this, we have 1.618 at 47.35. As far as minor, because this is what this outside fib number is, it's minor wave 5. If it starts getting above 46.50, we run the risk of going up to the high. So there's 100%. Minor wave 5 would be 1.618. This is where it starts to get really tricky. It would be 1.618 of minor wave 1 at 47.95.75, with the all-time high at 48.08.25. And it could be considered the endpoint. even if it went up here, even if it just flipped above in its current position, you'd be looking at, 4, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. So I believe we're getting very close. Everything is continuing to keep it lined up. So again, for tomorrow, it could just kind of hang out here, come down, finish this in terms of this being 1A, B, C, B, and do a C wave down. We get down into here. They're not really able to break above the highs. They inch above it, they drop back below, they inch above it, they drop back below, and they're sitting right there at it now. So everybody's going to kind of sit and wait. They got to get a little bit more reason. There's got to be more of a volatility play going on that's going to draw in additional money. Okay, so everything's in line for that to continue to go up. Breakdown from here, yep, I could. It's still, if you had to, but I don't really like it anymore. It becomes a little bit more difficult to kind of push this back to the 5 of the 5 of the 5. But it could. It definitely could be. The 3, the 4, a 1, 2, ugly 5. If they do this in the right fashion, it will become cleaner. Over in the NASDAQ, same deal, except yesterday, well, Globex opening yesterday, late afternoon, took out the high of the B wave. So keeps that in place as 4. It wasn't in irregular here. It was pretty normal. Didn't like it, but it was very normal. And now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, A, B, ding, 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 ding. It's just futzing around. This is where the NASDAQ was absolutely, let me open this up for you. The NASDAQ was just absolutely just futzing around, really doing nothing. There was money to be made there. And that would have been yesterday. Here's our opening right in here. So they pushed and then they died. Then they pushed and they died. Then they pushed and they died and pushed all at the same time. So decent moves there, decent moves here. So you could make your money and be done. It was one of those days. And so they're not bad. Which is like, you don't really want to sit and watch them churn on each other. So you make your money and you're done. You go do something else. Here we go. 1, same deal. 1, either 2's done, or A of B, B of B, including a little triangle. We get a C of B, doesn't take out that high, maybe even comes in a little bit below. Still do a C wave down. We can got 15,791, and then we got 15,700. It can. Of course, it's like here, fits perfectly because we've been looking for 50,800 all day. Come on down. Got close. Got down to 15,800 on the nose. And then boom. So that's where people were looking, and they got it, and then they pushed it up into the close. No changes. Let's pull this back out so we can see where we get fibs. If this is 1 and we're finishing up a 2, whether it's here, whether it's done, we're looking for this to kind of start to go. We have our minute fifths. Now I want to just pull this open and make sure that we also have our minor. So we have minor 5 and minute 5, and now we see where they kind of gather. So it would drop back down to the early chart, and our first layer is right here. And this remains very active at the moment for what the NASDAQ should be capable of doing very easily on just the hype and what's going to be behind Apple and Amazon's earnings, particularly Amazon. Amazon is delivering basically 24/7 somewhere. So they're pushing a lot. And Amazon Web Services is reportedly, I believe, going to be cashing in on some of the AI because of work that they're doing or work, what they're providing. So there's a lot going on at Amazon. They're expecting the earnings to be good. What can that do? Stock has already managed to kind of get itself back above 130. So we're heading to 140, 150, which is going to be, you know, post-split all-time highs. So I believe so. I believe so. Let me double check. I'm not making a total fool out of myself. Let me just pull this open, go to the max. And yeah, well, actually, it was going to have to go up quite a bit. So it's at 133, all-time high, would take it above 194. So I was a little bit off. But even if I look at this, boy, it looks like it's getting cooked. Okay, back at the ranch, I think that the NASDAQ for sure has room. Initially, as we begin, minute 5 would be equal to minute wave 1 at 16,058. That takes us just bit above that 16,062. Actually, a little below, excuse me, that 16,063, I'm going to call it, high that we had back on July the 19th. I think that gets cleared, but it could put in a help out on the third wave. Let's put it that way. I think we do start to head up when we get up into the 16,396 to 16,413. So minute wave 5 would be 1.618 of minute 1 at 16,414, I'm going to call it. And minor 5 would be 100% of minor 1 at 16,396. That's a very clean area for the market to smack and die. Now, all-time highs right above it at 16,767. So both of these markets are honing in on the January 2022 highs for these indexes. So it'll get interesting because, again, I like I said over the weekend, that still stands. All right, so that's kind of it. I don't think the market breaks down from here, but I think if we get an A and this is all turns into a B and we get a C wave, and so this becomes one big box, then we're going to go back down towards 15,775-ish. And we got 800, then we got 791, and likely, maybe got 775, like I said. It's price support. So it comes back down there, and then still, remember, we got to get to Thursday. Okay, that's where I'm going to finish it up for today. The next update will be on Tuesday, believe it or not, August 1st.